Good evening. I am Mike Burrill, principal of Valley Regional High School, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to our schedule information night. I am happy to see you here this evening, as it is a testament to both the value you place on your students' education and your support of the process. Tonight, I am joined by Dr. Bunley and each of our department coordinators. I'd like to thank each and every one of them for their dedication and commitment to the ongoing improvement of Valley Regional. Valley Regional High School's mission statement drives our work and informs the decisions we make. An important aspect of our mission includes our core values and beliefs, which is that all that students should be provided the opportunity to engage in relevant and rigorous curriculum, have their individual learning styles and needs met, embrace and contribute to a changing world, work in a fair, diverse, respectful, and safe community, become independent, active learners who are willing to take academic risks, access learning tools, technologies, and resources necessary to participate in a 21st century learning environment. This evening, we will provide the school community with further information regarding the rationale behind and the benefits of the modification of the current schedule, advanced opportunities and pathways to success at Valley and beyond lie ahead for each and every student at Valley Regional High School. After this overview presentation, department coordinators will be available in the cafeteria to answer any content-specific questions you may have. First, it is important to understand the context and history of our current block schedule. Please welcome Don Perrault, Social Studies Department Coordinator.
Good evening. 20 years ago, block scheduling was an initiative that met the needs of our students at that time. High schools across the state and nation were adopting this new schedule in an effort to provide more time for students to engage with content and develop ideas via discussion. As a result, the communities of Chester, Deep River, and Essex decided to adopt the 4x4 block schedule. Over the past several years, the faculty, staff, and administration have engaged in ongoing discussion about moving away from the block schedule because it no longer fully meets the needs of our students under their current curriculum and testing requirements. The foremost reason we would like to modify our schedule is to provide continuity in instruction. Some school districts who have already modified their schedules tried an AB schedule in which 8 periods were split into alternating 4 block days. Other schools dropped the block format completely and adopted either a 7-period or 8-period daily schedule. While all of these efforts and changes were meant to address the need for continuity, other issues arose. An alternating AB schedule led to confusion and disconnect, and those schools that reverted back to a traditional 7 or 8 period day lost their highly valued and important extended learning time. A study by the Washington School Research Center examined the results of achievement data, comparing schools operating on a traditional period schedule, 4x4 block schedule, AB block schedule, and hybrid schedule. Their conclusion is that a hybrid schedule yields better results. To provide further reasoning behind our needs to modify the block schedule, please welcome Maria Earhart, Business Department Coordinator.
As Mr. Perrault mentioned, the review process has been taking place for some time. While initiatives such as Common Core, teacher evaluation, the replacement of SBAC testing with SAT, and our NEASC accreditation have stalled plans to review the current schedule. Those initiatives have also driven the need to move forward with the process. Most directly driving the need to consider our current schedule and possible modifications was our decennial NEASC accrediting self-study and visiting committee review. During the 2-year self-study process, the faculty identified the need for a more flexible schedule to improve the continuity of instruction, align instruction with mandated testing dates, and provide common planning time within and among departments. During the visiting committee's review in November of 2016, the inflexibility of our current schedule was something that was consistently identified as an area in need of change. The closing remarks and preliminary feedback from the visiting committee chair supported the faculty's self-identified need of modifying the schedule to accommodate common planning time and continuity of instruction. They strongly indicated that our final accreditation report would recommend the evaluation of the effectiveness of our current schedule. Parallel to the accreditation process, a committee was developed to study the current schedule and determine possible modifications which would enhance and improve curriculum, instruction, and assessment while maintaining long-standing customs and traditions of Valley Regional High School. The committee, which was established to review our current schedule, included parents, faculty, administration, a member of the Board of Education, and 2 consultants. The committee met multiple times to study the schedule. During those meetings, the committee reviewed pros and cons of our current schedule, identified needs for teaching and learning, reviewed research on scheduling, developed and administered surveys for staff, students, and parents, sent teams to observe alternative schedules at other high schools, and discussed aspects to include in a possible schedule modification. Christine Schmidt, our library media specialist, will now discuss some of the feedback the committee received and how it is going to be incorporated into the schedule.
From parent and student surveys, we know that our 86-minute blocks are difficult for many of our students in terms of stamina, maintaining attention, and delivering their optimal performance. A modification of the current length of blocks enables us to offer a combination of both shorter and longer blocks to better meet the needs of these students. In addition, it will help to lessen the negative effects of absences, allowing students to catch up more easily after an illness. In year-long classes, teachers have greater opportunities to build relationships for student growth. In a survey of our faculty, teachers overwhelmingly wanted to see students for the entire school year in order to capitalize on that relationship. Full-year classes will allow teachers to identify and address students' strengths and weaknesses over 10 months instead of 2 or perhaps 4. Student surveys have consistently revealed the student desire for a more flexible lunch option. In a modified schedule, we have the ability to allow for a more healthy, mindful approach to nutrition and even a few minutes to rest the brain. The introduction of a new flexible period called Flex Block, which includes time for lunch, offers students unique opportunities ranging from obtaining extra help to participating in enrichment and activities. During the Flex, students have the time to personalize their learning, allowing them to better understand their own strengths and needs as learners. For example, students could meet with teachers to ask questions and clarify lessons, complete makeup work, or consult on projects. Other students might choose to complete homework, work on capstone, form study groups, read, attend additional club meetings, or investigate and explore a passion project of their own choosing. There are many ways in which the modification will improve the daily teaching and learning at Valley. Don Peralt, Social Studies Department Coordinator, will now discuss some of those changes. "20 years ago, Valley Regional moved to block scheduling in response to meeting the needs of students at a time in which technology had much less influence in our lives and took a far smaller role in our daily instruction. Students are changing, and the way we teach needs to change along with them. Technology such as Google Classroom and the internet allows students to access information more quickly and allows teachers to teach more efficiently. We now spend less classroom time on logistics, and a flexible schedule with different class lengths will be more effective with our current instructional practices. Pedagogy will significantly benefit from the schedule modification due to the increase in teacher collaboration. In the current schedule, it is difficult for teachers to meet together because there are only 4 blocks to work with to schedule common planning time.
The new schedule will allow for deliberate, focused time to discuss individual students' progress and effective strategies across the discipline, and create differentiated learning plans to better meet the needs of all students. Also, there is a greater emphasis upon standardized testing today, and we are not responding to it effectively with our current schedule. Standardized tests such as the SAT, AP, ACT, and CTE are administered in the spring. Students have either been out of the class for over 3 months or have only learned the first half of the material since the class began in January. Having students in class all year will ensure equity in instruction. It will also help to alleviate test anxiety for students, as they will be in class with a teacher who can provide last-minute review, coaching, and support. Last year, we saw firsthand how full-year instruction in reading and writing can improve student achievement. If you have a senior or junior, most likely your son or daughter has taken American Studies. Here to explain the correlation between high student achievement on the SAT and the American Studies course is Jessica Dwyer, English Department Coordinator.
American Studies is a co-taught class combining English and social studies. In this year-long required grade 11 course, students engage in reading, writing, and Socratic seminars in order to analyze the relationship between literature and historical events. As a result of year-long active engagement with reading and writing, students from Valley scored highest in our surrounding area for the language portion of the SAT. However, in mathematics, those same students scored toward the bottom of the scale. As I'm sure many of you know, educators are always looking for data points to prove that our best practices are effective. Our SAT test data revealed that 82% of last year's juniors were proficient in language arts, but only 47% of that subset were proficient in math. When we noticed such a disparity, we looked at the most blatant difference between instruction in the subject areas. This led us to the conclusion that the language arts scores are higher because students are consistently engaged in deliberate reading and writing all year long in the American Studies course. Engagement in mathematics is interrupted, as a student might take a math course in the fall semester and not take another one again until a full year later, sometimes longer, depending on availability. Certainly, this is an important variable that was within our control. Consistent, successful performance on the SAT across both subjects is an important data factor for all students applying to college, and we must do everything we can to ensure that they are prepared and the conditions are set for them to be successful. As you can see, a major consideration in modifying the schedule is continuity of instruction and providing student engagement with subject matter in major subjects for the full year. The current gaps in learning can result in regression in important skills in not only English and math, but world languages, the arts, and science as well. To further discuss the benefits a modified block will provide your students, specifically in science, I'd like to introduce Meg Kimmett, Science Department Coordinator.
There is a clear need for sequential courses in math and science. This schedule modification will allow for the successful implementation of the next generation science standards. These nationally recognized standards were recently adopted by the state of Connecticut, and they will replace the current CAP science standards. A schedule with full-year courses will ensure that all students have the properly sequenced academic experiences to integrate science and engineering practices which are essential for student success on the new science assessment to be administered to juniors in 2019. In recent years, the academic expectations for students in advanced placement and UConn ECE courses have changed significantly. As with other AP courses mentioned previously, AP Biology and AP Chemistry classes end in January, and the AP test is administered in May. This gap between instruction and assessment puts these AP students at a disadvantage compared to their national peers. It is left to the individual student and instructor to set up intermittent review sessions after school to complete the course, review content, and practice tests. Students involved in extracurricular activities typically do not have time to attend these review sessions, so a full year to acquire skills and assimilate the content will give our students the same AP and UConn ECE experiences as other students. The modified schedule will continue to provide our science-focused students the opportunity to pursue a variety of science electives in their specific area of interest. There will be both semester and full-year electives available to help students create a four-year plan that includes courses that highlight their strengths and interests. It is important to note that the flexible schedule times and increased opportunity to take science electives will benefit all levels of students, not just those in AP. Students who are unsure of their interest in science will have more opportunity for exposure to the subject in a time when science and technology are critical foundations in our rapidly changing society. This holds true for all subject areas. Students will have more flexibility in choosing their course load. Now, Lorraine Duffy, our Counseling Department Coordinator, will present some of the logistics you are probably wondering about.
As we move toward a modified schedule, graduation requirements will be changed. Right now, Valley has the highest number of credits required to graduate in the state of Connecticut. There is a new state statute slated to come into effect for the graduating class of 2021, where every student in the state will need to meet a total of 25 credits for graduation. Most schools will need to increase their numbers, but even with our revisions, our students will have more than enough credits. Graduation requirements will be adjusted for each rising grade level, meaning that as we implement the revision, the number of total credits will decrease with each graduating class. In addition, the total number of credits needed to graduate by department will be changed to accommodate the slightly different course load. With the modified schedule, the students will still be able to gain access to advanced level courses. Each department has already adjusted their prerequisites so that the students can have access to the highest level courses that they choose. Due to the fact that all the previously mentioned standardized testings happens in the spring, sometimes students' core academic subject areas have to be front-loaded in the fall. This often limits us in the number and variety of other classes that can be offered or might skew a schedule to have a heavier load in one semester or the other. It also results in imbalanced class sizes. We anticipate that with a modified schedule, this problem will be alleviated. Students will still be able to double up on classes where appropriate. There will still be room in the new schedule for students to explore elective areas of interest. If a student is interested in math and science, they will be able to take electives on top of their required courses and even at the same time. The same will be true for the arts and humanities. There will continue to be a variety of class courses and elective options. Most of the courses that currently run for 1 quarter will now run for 1 semester. We anticipate more flexibility in student schedules and continued opportunity for students to complete the academic, artistic, and career trajectories that they choose. All of this will be much clearer when you see it laid out, and Associate Principal Carolyn Bunley will now walk us through a visual representation of the schedule.
Our modified schedule includes aspects that our schedule study committee found to be effective in our research. As you can see, the schedule has 7 blocks. On Mondays and Fridays, students will attend all 7 blocks to bookend the week with all classes. On Tuesday through Thursday, drop days allow for extended learning in 65-minute blocks. 2 different blocks drop each day, so only 5 classes meet. Maintaining this longer block of time for projects, labs, discussions, and hands-on learning was essential to our study committee. There is an overall net increase in instructional time of 3 hours per course per year, which amounts to 21 additional hours of instruction over the course of the year. Each class will meet 4 days a week, twice in 45-minute blocks and twice in 65-minute blocks. Please look at A block highlighted in blue on the schedule. It meets first period on Monday for 45 minutes, first block on Tuesday for 65 minutes, does not meet on Wednesday, meets again first block on Thursday for 65 minutes, and finally first block on Friday for 45 minutes. If we look at C block highlighted in red, there is a similar pattern. C block meets third block on Monday for 45 minutes, does not meet on Tuesday, meets second block on Wednesday for 65 minutes, second block on Thursday for 65 minutes, and third block on Friday for 45 minutes. All blocks follow a similar pattern of meeting on Monday for 45 minutes, twice for 65 minutes with 1 day in which the class does not meet, and meeting again on Friday for 45 minutes. The schedule has limited rotation. This promotes our strong internship and career program, maintains senior privileges, and limits confusion that students and faculty may have due to rotating blocks. One important addition is Flex Block, a request from parents, students, and faculty alike. During this hour-long time period, students will have time for lunch and be able to direct their own learning, get extra help, study for a test, complete some homework, or participate in an activity or club. Each Wednesday, students will have the opportunity to participate in advisory and activity blocks. Students will meet first with their core groups. These groups are consistent through a student's 4 years at Valley, allowing students to build connections with their core teacher and students in their grade. During the activity block, students will join a group to pursue an area of interest. Choices include participating in student council, quiz bowl, robotics, math team, and much more. Providing this time during the school day will allow many more students to participate in a variety of extracurricular and co-curricular activities without conflicting with other after-school commitments. We have added suggested course sequencing to the core academic areas in the program of studies to offer more guidance to parents and students, as well as career pathway suggestions to direct students who may be interested in certain topics and careers.
This concludes the first part of our program. Department coordinators will now proceed to the cafeteria where individual questions or course-specific questions can be asked of them. Feel free to enjoy some refreshments that are available there. And again, thank you for joining us this evening. Drive safe and have a great night.